Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Business Innovators Radio, your blockchain series. Again, your host, Matthew Loughran, Principal Consultant of Midtown West Media. Today, we have an excellent show for you. We have the co-founders of Etherty on the show here today. We have Murtaza Khan as well as Adnan Naeem. Etherty is a real estate blockchain organization set to disrupt how we purchase and sell real estate across the globe. So very excited to have you guys on the show. Murtaza, welcome. Adnan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Matthew. Glad to be on board.
Nice to be here.
Great. I know you guys are around the globe right now, and that's one of the best things about this blockchain business sphere that we're all in is kind of bringing everyone together. So I appreciate that. And so just to kind of jump right in here, I would love, and maybe Murtaza, we can start with you, is if you can share a little bit about your background and kind of what inspired you to pursue blockchain technology.
Yes, Matthew. My name is Murtaza Khan. I'm the CEO of Etherty. I've worked in a UK-based FTSE 250 company where I've recently managed projects worth about $100 million each. A couple from inception, and I guess that's where I got bit by the startup bug. I'm regarding blockchain and what inspired me to get on board and get involved in the blockchain industry and in the blockchain technology is I believe blockchain is an absolutely fascinating piece of technology. And if any one of our listeners don't know about it, I would highly recommend that you look into it. The applications are tremendous, and in my opinion, this is the next big thing, the future. But before we go into details, let me just introduce our CTO, Adnan.
Hi guys, my name is Adnan, and I'm the CTO at Etherty. I graduated with a computer science and software engineering degree in Australia. I was picked up at an IT consultancy group and worked in pretty much every software development role imaginable. Started my career as a dev, did a stint as a BA and architect before I moved into automation and performance testing. Finally ended up managing a team of about 40 in a QA management role. And then some exciting things happened. I moved down to Dubai and co-founded Incubasis and served as a CTO on a number of different startups. Well, blockchain's always intrigued me for a number of years now. I'm self-taught, like a lot of the blockchain pros out there. We started looking at it as a serious development platform early this year with Etherty. I guess the idea of self-executing smart contracts, digital transactions, transparent security, I think it's all very exciting. It seems like we have really the next generation of the internet here. So, super excited.
And that's well, thanks for the quick intro, guys. And it's really interesting to hear both of your backgrounds as well, right? You have the finance and the business side of it, as well as deep roots in the technology side of things at the core of your organization. So speaking about your organization, can you really tell me about your company, Etherty, and kind of the types of customers or people that you're looking to connect with as well?
All right, Matthew. So Etherty is one of the most interesting startups that you will come across. Bold statement, and I'll tell you why. Imagine a platform where if there is a boom in another corner of the world, let's say Australia or Hong Kong, the platform brings the real estate market to your app or device. You can buy, sell, trade in the market, even if you have only $1,000 in the bank. That is the idea, and that's what's driving Etherty, and what we believe will make it a big success. In a way, Etherty inspires to be the Ethereum of real estate, and that's our goal with this company. As Ethereum exploded the ICO market, we aspire to do the same for the real estate market by launching shares of properties around the globe and allowing trading of those shares to be accessible. So very exciting stuff over there. Just to put this into, let me just put in a bit of an example. So let's say there is an apartment in an upscale location in New York, and you're thinking to yourself, that is absolutely out of my reach, and I cannot own this, at least in my lifetime. But I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. Why? Because this is exactly what we want to do. We want to make the inaccessible accessible. That apartment will be yours through Etherty, as you can own a share or the whole property from wherever you are. You can build up your wealth in a way, in an investment mechanism that will allow that far quicker than any mortgage or loans can provide. And I find one of the biggest hassles of owning property is the mountain of paperwork and inspections, and finding a renter, maintenance of the property when a renter is in place, etc. And our platform takes the hassle out of all of that by being your one-stop solution. So regarding your question about the types of customers, Etherty's targeted audience is anyone and everyone who wants to invest in properties anywhere and everywhere. We feel the people who will come to us are people who want to see their hard-earned savings grow in what has traditionally proven to be the most secure investment, even if that saving is only $1,000, to take advantage of accessing these different markets and capitalizing on market performance. Why should global property trading be limited for people with a certain income level? Why not for all? That's what we want to achieve.
I mean, you just went through quite a number of different things and a lot of different layers right there. So I just kind of maybe do a quick summarization. So it really sounds like you're kind of democratizing the real estate purchasing process for anybody who wants to invest in, say, so myself, right? You mentioned Hong Kong, right? I've never been to Hong Kong, right? I can do research on the Hong Kong market, right? I can see, the real estate's booming in certain sectors, but realistically, I'm not going to fly over to Hong Kong from California and then go purchase an apartment and then fly back and not know, okay, property management, who's going to do X, Y, Z. So what you're saying is I can basically leverage your platform to do all those things for me, but I can then take advantage of certain booming markets around the globe. That's kind of so that's one aspect of what you just said. Now, the other aspect of it is, maybe I live in Mexico City and, I'm making a certain amount of wage in the booming tech sector coming up over there, that maybe I want to purchase a property, vacation property, with my family in Australia. And maybe it's a shared property. Is that something where like I can use the token to go visit the property as well? I'm not really, can you explain a little bit is it just an ownership piece for equity, or is it a use piece? I'm not really can you clarify that piece for me?
Sure. Regarding your first comment about Hong Kong, absolutely right. You're spot on right there. Etherty, through our affiliates, will allow you to will be your solution to inspect the properties. So you can do remote inspection yourself over video conference. All of that will be possible through our platform. Now, regarding your question about Mexico City, yes, the contract, the tokenization structure will be where you will own shares in the property in the jurisdiction where you're buying the property in. So once, depending on the contract type with your co-owners, you will have a renter that will be providing returns, and we've left it flexible. Etherty is a platform that allows any kind of flexibility that the users want. The contract structure can be defined as per the user's requirement, and that's part of the beauty of this platform, of what we are offering.
Wow. Okay, that definitely kind of brings it back into perspective for me. Just a quick question, where are you guys currently targeting properties at anyway? as a follow-up.
So we have 3 locations that we're targeting. One in Mexico City, one in Dubai, and one in Australia.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And
so
then
three
just to
locations.
kind of touch back as well. I mean, obviously, there's the real estate market is massive, right? I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm sure it's in the trillions. And
270
being
trillion
someone,
to be
yeah, being someone who recently, moved back to California from Washington and sold her house in Washington and had to buy another one in California, the level of paperwork that I have personally had to do over the last several months has been a nightmare. Like I literally I missed one date on I think it was one of the sale documents or something, and like I had to go to another notary, then I had to refill everything out. Like I thought my wife was going to kill me. So I mean, to me, if you're saying your platform can actually solve that problem for me, I would love to hear more about that. But to me, that's just kind of one of those opportunities or voids that I've experienced in the market. But I would love to hear maybe from you guys as kind of what other void or opportunity might have helped inspire the creation of this platform.
Yeah. That is so common, Matthew. Where conveyancing is a huge hassle for people, and that's part of the reason why we decided on our business model that we make it easier for our users. Now, just on the inspiration for the idea. Well, I remember quite vividly that I was in Dubai and Adnan and I were passing by this amazing building called Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world right now. It is absolutely magnificent in person. And I was telling Adnan, why can't we own a part of this? Why should it be so difficult? That, of course, leads into further discussions, and Adnan and I got talking, and we went into one of those phases where we start challenging, questioning each other. I call it the zone, where just the conversations just branch out into ideas and possibilities. And we have this idea of how we are going to make not just Burj Khalifa, but Sears Towers in Chicago, Petronas Tower in Kuala Lumpur, or a mansion in Beverly Hills accessible to everyone. And part of the concept of making it accessible is exactly as you mentioned, making it putting all of those holistic views, holistic issues regarding doing a transaction included in our platform so that it becomes easy. The average person should be able to invest and have opportunities to grow their money in any business venture with no barrier for entry. These things should not be even thought about, and that's what we're aiming to achieve. And that's what also making it that easy for users would ensure that they have year-on-year growth, and that thought motivated us to create Etherty, Matthew.
No, I can attest to that, right? So again, I grew up in New York City, so I've been around massive skyscrapers my entire life, and I can understand like I remember seeing tourists come in and seeing the awe, right? And it's funny when you're a New Yorker and you're walking around town, everyone that you see just staring up at the sky, is a tourist, and you just can make sure you walk around them because you're walking a lot faster than they are. So I understand that initial feeling, and I've seen it on a lot of people's faces in Manhattan. So absolutely, thanks for that. Now, obviously, though, when we're talking about your organization, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be some threats that are going to be out there as well. I would love to maybe know, what do you guys consider possibly the biggest threat to the success of Etherty at this point?
Right. So for Etherty, I would consider, as with every online startup, the biggest threat is competitors emerging once a working model has appeared in the market. We've seen it with all big apps that have emerged in the market, Airbnb, etc. You name it. Therefore, for Etherty to flourish, we have to overcome that. And our strategy is to expand rapidly to cover as many markets as possible to gain momentum and to maintain market share. That's one of the reasons why we're starting out with 3 different markets at the very beginning. Being aggressive in our growth, we believe, is key to the success of the venture, and therefore we are being intentionally ambitious, and our business model is also intentionally ambitious, with room to be more, actually.
Interesting. Okay, so it really sounds like speed to market, right? Get your network effects, and really kind of, from once that kicks in, it really starts to work out. Now, obviously, an ICO is very positive in that respect, or any type of crowdfunding campaign is a positive, kickstart for network effects, because you're building a community base off the bat, from that initial launch. And it really sounds like you're looking at an Amazon model at first, right? Which is, growth above all. I don't think Bezos has ever paid a dividend yet on his stock, but it's at, God knows what it's at now, over $1,000 or something. So yeah, growth for those network effects, especially as an online startup, absolutely makes sense. And then kind of speaking of ICOs, I mean, obviously you guys are going to be running an ICO here. Would love for you guys maybe let our listeners know what's different about the Etherty ICO from other ones that they're seeing in the marketplace.
Okay. Etherty is unique in the market, we believe. Where other ICOs have tried to launch real estate projects, specific technological applications related to the blockchain, and some have even ventured into a platform to tokenize properties, none have looked at the market holistically to target the maximum market audience possible. Our white paper on our website, www.etherty.com, details a lot of these case studies. Etherty caters to individual homeowners who want to raise money to do modifications for their houses, to traders and investors who want a part of the action of big developments, whether they're starting their trading journey with us, or are seasoned investors who want to access different markets effortlessly. So with that vast majority being catered to, we believe we are unique in our business offering.
No, that's an interesting use case that you
I'll just jump in here. Sorry, I just wanted to quickly jump in with
go for it.
Another quick comment. So one of the other differentiators is that, we are a platform for third parties as well. There are real estate investment trusts and funds who already do this, via traditional means, where, they act as custodians and trustees, and they acquire properties which are then distributed as shares to investors who are the beneficiaries. So we are not just a real estate business like our competitors. As Murtaza mentioned earlier, our vision is to be the Ethereum of the real estate world, and that means the platform is open for others to tokenize existing real estate portfolios, as long as they have the legal structure to do so. So yeah, that's one of the biggest differentiators. What Ethereum did for projects and ICOs, we are planning to do something similar for the real estate market, by providing a platform for pretty much any kind of existing real estate structured businesses to, run ICOs for properties.
Yeah, I think that was a great comment. There's one of my questions was going to follow up about, the real estate funds and so forth. So you definitely kind of knocked that one out of the park there. But I think you bring a really good point, right? In that it's not a new model per se that you guys are doing, but it's a very unique lens on how you're going to be implementing that model, and you're actually opening up to a much wider variety of individuals. Again, people that are investing into real estate trusts, real estate funds, et cetera. They're typically going to, have quite a bit of capital to be playing around with anyway. But this really kind of breaks it down to breaks down that barrier for really anyone to jump in and participate, in this type of industry. So excellent.
Thank you. Absolutely right.
Yeah, and it's kind of following up on that as well about this industry and so forth. Would you kind of share a little bit on the revenue model for Etherty?
All right. So our business model has 4 streams of revenue. To ensure that our revenue streams are robust, we will gain percentage of value from launches of major property developments, be it from off-plan launches or investment on property development itself during the property development phase, and a regular-sized commercial or residential properties, owners who want to tokenize their properties of regular value. We will also gain revenue from the actual trading that is conducted on the platform, which, by the way, I'd like to take this opportunity to add, we will share with our token holders. And lastly, through the services provided by our affiliates on the platform.
So you can maybe go into a little bit more detail on the last 2 there. I think we've covered the first couple, but the affiliate services. So is that like what I just complained about, like going to 12 different notaries? Like you'll have
exactly right.
Like different. So obviously the real estate ecosystem is large, right? It's a lot of different people that have a finger in the pie in the real estate ecosystem. And I know this because going through it several times, nothing is ever connected. Like they never know what each other's doing. It's really annoying. So what I'm hearing is that this platform will basically be that conduit of information held in a blockchain, but then there's those entities though can still access in. Is that what you mean by the affiliate services, or can you explain that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely right. So we talked about conveyancing. That's one. We are talking about, which includes inspections, assessment, value assessment, even doing minor improvement, tradesmen on your property that you're interested in. So we will be building that network within individual countries or individual cities, rather, that would help our users to do those investments easily. So we are in effect truly commoditizing these real estate to tokens, and that could be easily traded further on.
Okay.
Now, as far as the actual trading is concerned, so once we tokenize this, we want to maintain. We will be through our trading platform. We want to allow our users to trade these shares. So, if tomorrow, say for example, you buy a property in Hong Kong, you say, I want to place my bet now on, for example, Dallas Fort Worth, which is booming by now. I want to place my bets over there, so I'm going to move my property. I'm going to purchase some property over there. So you can sell on our platform the property in Hong Kong and purchase the one in Dallas Fort Worth, or a piece of property in Dallas Fort Worth.
Gotcha. Okay, that clears that up for me specifically. So I appreciate that. Now you mentioned, obviously, it sounds like there's a lot of different types of customers for this, both from, as you mentioned, even on the affiliate side, even to end users. Have you guys started to work out on a plan on what does customer acquisition look like in a post ICO Etherty?
Yeah. So because of the wide audience that we have, we'll be marketing this in the traditional way of mainstream media, magazines, newspapers, possibly TV ads, and also through online marketing through social media to also get the younger generation also on board. We intend to be aggressive by having a good PR, by approaching them very by being very effective and very targeted on our marketing campaigns. We will also be very active in launches and real estate exhibitions to grow our investor base in the platform. So that's where we will target the investors. With time, we are certain that we will see organic growth as people see value of doing transactions to our portal. Because all of these will be direct, the transactions will be direct buyer to seller. We will be undercutting a lot of middlemen, and that means a lot of savings. And even our charges will be lower than what you will see in regular markets. Given our portal is global, the outreach of potential investors and buyers will be huge. And to ensure that a healthy pool of traders is maintained in our portal, and so these tradings can be done, there's a healthy pool of investors who are looking at buying properties in different areas. We will include a networking section in our platform where investors can socialize, traders can interact, and also copy trading patterns to maximize gains from their investment. We will explore cases with specific market audiences also, and target our messaging to these groups to be as effective as we can with our marketing. As I mentioned earlier, the beauty of our platform is that the application is so wide, so there's a case for everyone.
Yeah, it really sounds like it. I mean, it's funny, like you're talking, I'm thinking like all the different use cases in my own head as you're chatting about this. I'm even thinking of like the millennial who's mining crypto on the side and living in his mom's basement is going to start buying real estate around the world and finally get out of there, right?
Absolutely right.
Yeah, there's so many different applications for this, I feel like.
Yeah.
Great. Now, obviously,
and that's the exciting bit about this, Matthew. I mean, even the millennium in the basement, he can be owning a property in Hong Kong, Singapore.
I think what might happen, and I think the millennium's mom's going to buy it and ship him out. I think is what will happen.
Yeah.
Oh man. Obviously, you guys are you're at a stage where now you're looking to launch your organization, right? You got the ICO coming up. Obviously, I've been behind the scenes and I've run startups before, so I understand some pain points. And a lot of our listeners are small, medium size business owners, startup founders, entrepreneurs, etc. So I would love to kind of hear maybe your top 2 or 3 challenges that you guys are going through right now, and really kind of how do you anticipate on overcoming those?
I guess one of the challenges is the regulations and the restrictions around how real estate companies are allowed to operate. But again, that's not our problem, really. I mean, it's a lawyer's problem. I mean, I'm just kidding. The legal team is, quite on top of the situation here. We are doing everything right to ensure that our investors and customers in the future, are well protected. We are going to be working quite closely with the regulators as much as we can to make sure that we can work under the current rules and laws governing these kind of businesses, and at the same time still allow the ease of transactions that we are promising. Another challenge, I guess, would be around the user experience, I guess, because just like you mentioned, if someone's mom or dad, who are not really very familiar with how the crypto space works at the moment, it's tricky for them to get on board easily. I would want my grandma to go and buy some property tokens in the future. So I think this is one of the challenges that we are going to be looking at very seriously and trying to put together an experience which is super easy for pretty much everyone to get involved with.
Well, Greg, it's funny you said that, right? Some older people about getting involved, and it seems like especially right now, the Bitcoin is splashed on every major headline, and it seems like anybody old is looking to somebody new and saying, "What is Bitcoin? How do I get some of it?" So it seems like there's definitely added interest, within the specific demographic, even the baby boomer demographic. So, and obviously, those that are retired might look to this as something to supplement. So this is and again, if I look at use case, you guys have quite a wide variety of use case options here with this. So great. And then just kind of touching, I know we're going to wrap up soon, so I would just like to maybe hear a little bit from you guys about, maybe you can share your ideal vision, your ideal future, for Etherty. If I look at it, you guys are right now in that about to launch phase, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of planning, et cetera. But can you maybe share that ideal future? So think, post ICO, post launch, or what does this look like a few years down the line?
Well, we've mentioned it a couple of times, Matthew. We want to be the Ethereum of property. In all the globally, we want to be recognized as the trading platform for real estate, where users get where users buy and sell real estate effortlessly. And so, and in that way, we are seen as an industry leader in that space.
Yeah, if I think about that too, right, is that as you look and pioneer to be, the Ethereum of the real estate world. If I just look at the real estate world right now, there's a lot of process that needs to get updated, right? So this has really come in as a disruptive technology to that specific space. Again, as you get more product adoption, if you get your network effects and all that stuff kicks in, then definitely that ideal future could become a reality for you guys. So, very exciting times, I'm sure, behind the scenes over there at Etherty, as you gear up here for your ICO. And just so our listeners know, can you guys share, I think you mentioned the website earlier, but can you share information on how they can learn more about Etherty, as well as if they choose to, how to participate in the ICO?
This is by far the trickiest question you've asked all day, Matthew. For starters, I guess the website is a good starting point. That's etherty.com, etherty.com. Download the white paper. We have a one-pager as well for those who don't have a lot of time but want to just understand how it all works. We'll be putting up our financials and forecasts up there as well to show how much homework we've done on this and how well structured the entire business model is. We would also invite everyone who's listening in to join our Telegram channel, and please come and ask questions if you have any. Even if you don't have any questions, don't just come in and say hello. We would like to build, a good network of people who can add value, by providing feedback or, even questioning how and why we are doing what we're doing. So we're going to be quite active on Facebook and Twitter as well, and all of those links are on the website. So let's get together and build a community here.
Great. So first off, I really want to thank you guys for taking the time out to come on the show today. I know you guys are gearing up here for the launch, and time is very precious come right before the launch time. So again, I really appreciate it. I think it was very educational for our listeners to understand, where the real estate market is going, based on blockchain technology and how you guys are implementing several things. And again, we wish you guys all the success with your launch, and just really appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank you, Matthew. This was a lot of fun. Thanks.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us, and we look forward to doing this more often.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.